Welcome back, beautiful souls. It's a soldier of light reporting for duty. And I just want to say thank you all for tuning in and for others who are not with us now that will be joining us or watching this video afterwards or listening, even if you don't have the chance to even get in front of a screen. So I just want to thank you guys. Thank you for all the guardians in the chat that are kind of watching things as well. And always with me, the two gentlemen that I enjoy sharing this platform with. Mr. Dennis, the King of Cups. How are you today, sir?
Yeah.
He's already flashing.
Uh-oh. He's getting different. All right, we'll go. He's flashing.
I'm ready.
How you doing today, Mr. Dennis?
I'm doing well, thank you.
All right.
That was my granddaughter, by the way. She's going to work.
Nice. Your lights were flashing, though.
Really?
Yeah, they
As
were.
soon as you were talking to her, your lights started flickering.
Oh, it may have been her, though.
Could have been. Could have been. So, and of course, always with me is, or with us is Mr. J. Rocco. How are you doing today, sir?
Good. Loving it. Living someone else's dream in a past life.
That's what I'm
doing. Well, get out of my past life, will you?
So, I if you guys are wondering what the topic, if you read the topic today, it kind of just came to me from Spirit, and I feel like literally the words came up to me. Enough. Are you enough? Are we enough? Because I keep seeing this. This was a pattern that I'm seeing in multiple places, not just here in this platform. I also feel like, others like Joe, he has a platform. Dennis has a platform. I feel like we've all kind of seen the collective energies. And the funny thing is, or it's not really a coincidence or a funny thing, but I feel like that we're locking in energetically more. I said, because I didn't know, like something came to me about this topic, and Jay was saying the same thing, and Dennis, like it was something that literally came to us about the same time. And literally it was about this, loving yourself and all those types of things and growing spiritually. So I wanted to reach out with everybody. And I feel like the title came to me, Am I Enough? And if you even notice the thumbnail to this video, and it's just a girl just sitting there like this, like confused, like, I don't know. But I put the words in her hands, if you've noticed, because there is I'm getting some reverb.
Not me. That's not me, but I'm going to turn off the TV for the dog. Excuse me.
Oh, it was me. I turned it off.
Statement. See, now mine went off for a second. So there's weight to that statement. And that's the reason why I put it in there. I put this statement out there, am I enough? And they're holding on to it, and it was across their shoulder, because I feel like there's a lot of weight on a lot of people. And I feel like the people that are, I have a lot of people say, this is one of the best therapies that we've had, that I had. I feel like I got something beautiful out of these, just sitting there listening. And it's amazing to know that we're helping people. But I want people to realize, that's why at the end of my shows and things like that, I try to give some encouragement. I want people to know that you are enough. And that's why I feel like this is something that we need to discuss a little bit more. We don't talk about this stuff enough. It just sounds like, oh, it's just words. People are just putting words to things. And that's really not the case. We want to start thinking differently, feeling differently. That's where it begins. And I actually feel like there's a huge process that we all have to go through individually. But I just wanted to say that about the being enough. Being enough. You are enough. And that's the one thing that I wanted to kind of put out. And I don't know, what are your thoughts there, Jay, as far as that? Like, what have you been getting spiritually with some of this stuff?
Well, one of the wild things I want to tell you about is at 10:37, I make myself notes in my phone, and I typed in weight of the world. And I think sometimes a lot of us bear the weight of the world on our shoulders. In other words, am I doing the right things? Everyone's doing everything. And then day before yesterday, I did a video about, it basically was, in other words, there's so much information out there, and we're constantly searching for the information. And I should have used the word knowledge. I only used knowledge once. But we're not just searching for information, we're searching for knowledge. And this morning I did a little video, and it again pertains to this, is just how to kind of connect. In other words, it really was about knowing yourself. In other words, you really need to go inside, take a good look at yourself. And yeah, you got to be hard. You got to look at yourself. But it's right up this alley entirely. I mean, our energies are, and Dennis was said a couple of these things today in the chat that I was like, wow, we're just like, we're connecting. Pretty cool.
Absolutely. I mean, there's something to this. That's why I want people to know, like, these are things, not just us, but I know other people are having these similar feelings, similar thoughts. You know, obviously it's like, but I feel like the I am enough, what I'm getting from spirit is the comparative. It's people comparing themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they look at them, look how, I mean, not saying like if we're basing it off of success, whatever it means, but it's just we're looking at somebody else for our own value.
Right.
And that's how where our barometer is to say, hey, am I better or worse? What do I need to work on? And in fact, it's the fact that we're all out of balance, no matter who you are. And so that tells me that we have to all work on our imbalances, things that we're good at. We need to maybe tone down a little bit, and some of the things we need to be better at. That's the areas of finding balance. It's like the Two of Pentacles for me, and it's somebody's managing multiple things, and they have one foot up and they're juggling. And that's what I feel like energetically, that's what we're doing. And I feel like when it comes to that, we always compare. Everything is a comparison. And that's just something that, I don't know if it was something that just came to us that way, or if it's been indoctrinated.
I think it was more ingrained to us as a competition thing early on in life.
Love it. Yeah.
I think people need to focus more on themselves rather than on everybody else, and stop comparing things and start, stop with the am I enough and understand that you're doing your bit, that your purpose is unique compared to everybody else.
Right.
Exactly. I mean, that's everything. Everything comes back to, we talked about, look yourself in the mirror. Start loving yourself. I mean, honestly, right? Exactly. Like Dennis, you know what I mean? Get that hair flown, whatever it is. I mean, even for me.
I'm jealous. He can hair flick. He can flick his hair. I can't.
Not yet. You don't have those locks yet?
No, they're curling. I don't know what's up. It's just like this morning I went on when I did this was a guided thing. I was, like I get my morning kind of downloads, and it was pretty deep. But anyway, I got morning hair. I was like, yeah, whatever. I'm just coming in, like coming in hot. This is me. He's just flickering. But no, Dennis has a great point there about competition. It's ingrained in us. And again, that separation, that's that division of, it's all been ingrained. That was spot on, Dennis. That was a perfect segue into this whole thing.
Yeah, exactly. Two of Pentacles, man. We're always out. We're always out of balance. And that's the thing is, and I also feel like that's the reason why some of us have extra like abilities. Maybe you're better at some things and someone else isn't, because we're meant to use those powers, or I look at them as superpowers. When you're really good at something, then you're able to help others who aren't so good at that, to bring balance not only to yourself, because it humbles you to teach and to put this information on as well. And I feel like that's part of what this whole thing is humbling. Mm-hmm. It's humbling. And I'm going to tell you, there's a message that I even got today I wasn't even reading for my teacher, but I was reading for her daughter, and I got a message from Spirit. And there's some things that I have to tell her later on when I see her that may be difficult for her to even hear, about humbling yourself, things of that nature. And I feel like there's some things, like even for me, I feel like that's part of what it is our ego gets in the way sometimes. And that's a true story of all the time, actually, because like I said, that ego comes in as I have to be better than this person. I have to be a better me. But what does a better me even look like? Is a better me saying, okay, I'm going to say more prayers because that's the right thing to do that others said it's to do? Am I going to eat differently? Like I should eat this compared to this because others do that and it works well for them. You see what I'm getting at? It's always like you when you make these decisions, but it's to compare, it's to balance, because I feel like computers have to balance themselves out, and our mind is that way energetically. I feel we're a supercomputer, so I feel like there has to be balance in some way or another. Like I said, even when I get angry, I used to have a completion. Something had to close, like that loop had to close in order for me to move forward into something different. So I feel like that's part of what we're learning right now is we have to close these loops and stop comparing ourselves to others because there's no one else like us. And unfortunately, like that's like multiple generations of this, of just consistently being told who you are. Don't be like, okay, for instance, like a parent, your brother doesn't do that. Why do you do this? Your sister doesn't do that, or whatever the situation. Well, your teachers told you to do this. Why didn't you do that? Those types of things. What that means is now you're saying, okay, my decision that I made wasn't the right one because somebody else says it wasn't the right one. Does that make any sense? I mean, that's what I feel like. We've had that taken from us for so long. We've just been afraid to even speak out energetically because we've been told what somebody says is right or wrong, what we should do or we shouldn't do, because what's what they feel, they're pushing their energy off onto you. So I feel like that's like how this has been pushed, like a kicking the can down the road is what I feel. This is what's been going energetically. I don't know. What do you feel about that, Dennis or Jay?
I like it a whole lot better looking outside the box.
I agree with that.
Oh, exactly. And that's what I was even saying that to my wife. I'm like, we've been put inside this tiny little box. And even people who feel like we're all awake, we don't know anything. I'm telling you, we don't know
They
anything.
couldn't even get me inside that little box.
Man, your energy was too big.
One of the things I wanted to mention about how you were saying about ego. Well, ego is also on the lower end of the scale. Yeah. I'm not worthy. I'm not them. I can't do that. Or, that inferiority feeling. But when we bring the balance, that's like we had talked about in the mirror, you're a beautiful person. You got to talk yourself up a little bit on this. You got to pump yourself up. You are exactly what you're supposed to be right now, this moment.
It's like subconscious battling your consciousness.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
All the time.
Exactly.
All the time.
Yep. Too much ego, not enough ego, the humbleness in between.
Feed me.
I'm going to tell you. See, yeah.
His lights are going. He's making a joke and his lights are going. What is with that?
That's because, you know why?
My higher self is a very light-headed fellow or light-hearted fellow.
Exactly. When you laugh, his vibration goes up. Mm-hmm. So he emits energy. That's why they flicker like that.
Yeah. So. And I had mentioned something today when you were in with Chrissy today. You were looking at one of the photos and you were seeing things, and someone mentioned that I don't know how he sees those things, and I'm like, he feels them. You don't have to necessarily see them. When you feel them, then your sight, don't forget, it's not just this and this. Sight is the whole ball of wax, energy, everything. You don't even realize you're doing it. That's just it. It's, when I connect with people, I step into their energy. And when you were doing this, Jason, that's what I said to her. I said, he's feeling it, because I could feel you were like, boom, zoomed in, like, here it is. I sure as hell couldn't see it. And I've seen the pictures before. Yeah. And I did see it because I went back and looked afterwards. I'm like, oh, I see it. Yeah. But at the time I did not, but see, you were zooming in on that energy, just like we do. Whether it's tarot, you're talking with someone, you're healing someone, any kind of inspirational deep, brutal thoughts, you know, I mean, like questioning everything, being outside the box. It's all energy.
Yeah. And I feel like lately, like even when I've been watching or seeing some things, man, there are so many things out there just to crush people.
Yeah.
At every turn, every turn is to crush people. And it's that's what I'm getting at, because if you don't feel you're worthy or enough, you're just an easy little ember that's barely flickering that they can just literally just blow you out.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that's then when you're out, guess what? Your light has been exterminated at that point. And then the darkness just consumes you. So I feel like that's what this is about, is to try to generate some of that energy from within, to that fire energy that, you know, to the ember can spark again, or whatever the situation. All of a sudden we have a nice blazing fire.
Mm-hmm.
And it's full of passion. It's full of, confidence. Now, what I mean by, there's a difference between being confident and being arrogant. And that's a true story. And honestly, that even for me, I mean, when I look at it, I've had so many humbling moments in my life from what I used to be ego-wise, and I've been humbled many times. And I feel like that's what a lot of these situations are. These are humbling situations for all of us, multiple times, even from when you're a child. And I feel like these are lessons that are meant to be learned over time. And
Grip.
Exactly right. And that's what I feel. I feel like that's why. And here's the thing that came to me from Spirit today, out of nowhere. And I think it was God, because God said, do you think I would have put you here as my creation to put you here for a little bit of time, 50 years, 80 years, and you're going to learn what you need to learn to come back to heaven? This is like a parent kicking their kids out of the house. And go learn and go figure this out, and then I'll see you on the other side when we're able to
Which
that's
gives a whole new perspective to the prodigal son.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Well said. And
I don't know. It's what God told me. He goes, do you think I would have put you here for this little bit amount of time, 50 years? Because we're taught we only have this little bit of life. We have so much time, but they make it the opposite. We have no time. You only make sure you get everything done so you don't have any regrets when you pass out. That's fear-based. People are afraid to die. I used to be a hospice nurse, and good-hearted people sometimes were just scared to death to die. And I've seen people who've done really bad things in their life, and they fought till the very end because they were deathly afraid to die, because of what we're told is going to happen. And this is what's going to happen. So, I mean, it's a fear. So when you're dying and you're afraid, who do you think the demons are going to be there too? Like, ooh, look at this. This is amazing. I just feed off of that. But the angels are right there too to say, hey, everything is good. You're just transitioning into the next phase of this journey. Right. And that's what people realize. This isn't the end if you die. It's just a step.
Yeah.
One step closer to the heaven, the gates that I've seen, which are multiple levels that you have to attain to get to the kingdom where God is. There's multiple levels of the kingdom.
The way I've seen how we're kind of reincarnated also is, okay, when you're in a particular spot in heaven, doesn't matter where you're at, when you leave this world, you just don't go and start back from the bottom again. Some do come back right away. I agree with that. There is a waiting plane. There is. I've seen that. But you're right in the sense of once we do figure, or say we came back here to learn something, okay, because it seems like this is the only plane that we can learn, right? We don't learn in the heavens, we learn here. So this is a big part of our transition. That's why we should be like, hey, this is great. I'll be honest with you, I hated school. This is an open air school.
I like that, right? Me too.
Yeah. This is an open air school.
I never hated it. I just liked looking out the window. I didn't learn a thing.
Well, I played baseball because I was told I had to play baseball because my brother played baseball. And I'm sitting there the first year on the team, sitting there going, oh, wow, you know what? All these stones down on their feet, they must have got these from the lake because there's seashells in here. And we picked through the seashells, and that's dangerous for a little kid and a ball and a bat. It's like, oh, yeah, there's a ball and a bat. But you see this rock. But it is one of those things where we don't know. These are lessons learned. Again, it seems like we can only learn the lesson here. And I'm a person that believes your twin flame is broken here, not in the astral plane. It's here. Because if you can't break it here, you're connected. On this plane is where all the lessons are learned. All of them. I don't care what guru, what person spews out information, and he's spewing out information. It's not knowledge. But the practical fact is that we're here to learn on this plane. Otherwise, why wouldn't we just know that stuff up there in the heavens, right?
Exactly.
We're here for a reason. So there's a whole lot to that, is what I'm getting at.
That's what I want people not to be afraid. Like literally God said, do you think I would put you here for such a little short time? And then you're back in my basement again at my house, blaring your music all night and smoking
Playing on
weed.
your video game in the basement.
I like the basement.
I'm just what I mean. Like you think like I'm looking at God as our father. He's like, hey man, get out, go explore the world and go come back and tell me what you learned.
Do I have to
That's
leave?
what I feel. That's what I feel this is. I feel like when we pass on, we report back to God and say, hey, he goes, we're going to go over this. And what have you learned from this situation? Mm-hmm. So now you've learned this, you've mastered this part. This is great. Now you have to move into the next phase to correct some of these things. And I feel like that's what, I don't know why I just got this stuff, but I feel like, honestly, like we're not here for 50 years and then we're done and we're either in heaven or hell, whatever you want to call it. And I don't even feel like that even really exists as much. Honestly, I really don't. I feel like
your big
heaven
ass
and hell
out
is
there.
based on what.
Okay, Joe. Okay.
That's damn doggy. Hold on, excuse me.
It's crazy, man. I don't know. Like, I honestly don't feel like heaven and hell is what it is, and what they've at least told us it is in books. What I feel like it's different. I feel heaven and hell can be in any energetic plane for anyone. Mm-hmm. Unless you're in the highest realm in heaven with God, like the highest level of heaven. But there's multiple levels of heaven. And that's why I feel like when they say bring heaven to earth, that's what I feel like we're trying to do. So the pathway from earth to heaven is good. It's a good learning environment instead of a negative, evil learning environment. So I feel like we've had the dark. So I feel like now it's the time to transform into the light, to do the healing of the darkness that was done so long. I don't know what, I just feel like very strongly that's why things are changing the way they are. And it may not be 5 years, 10 years, it could be hundreds and hundreds of years as we're transitioning. So
would heaven already be here in another dimension?
That's what I'm saying. We don't know. I mean, honestly, I do know that I've seen angels and I've seen demons and I know when I've helped people transition when they were passing, I've seen them there. I felt the energy. I've seen it. Like it's amazing. I mean, I was like, wow. And I've seen people pass very violently as well. And I've seen how that situation goes. And it's very humbling for me to even for all the stuff that I saw people. And I feel like the family and all the stuff, it just very energetically to watch somebody transition. And my mom, I took care of her when she was dying. And when she passed, I remember her like some of the most crazy, like some of the most like beautiful things that I've ever, like I feel spiritually that I've ever had witnessed in my life is my mom was out of it. And she was close to passing, but she was in between worlds. And I remember she opened her eyes for a little bit. And when she opened her eyes, she was looking up toward the ceiling, like looking up, and she was just smile. And she let out the biggest smile that I've ever seen. And it was like she was looking at something beautiful because it was like what I related to in my head, what popped in my head was a little child on Christmas coming downstairs and seeing like a brand new bike that they wanted or something, and just so excited. Like it just brought so much joy to my heart to see her, because I knew at that time, like, it was amazing. It was very beautiful. And another time my mom came to, she was looking around. She was in a bed, but she's looking around with her head, and she goes, "Do you see all these people? Look at all these. Look, you see them, and they're so nosy. These people are so nosy." She was kind of saying that. I'm like, wow, because of all the energies that she could see that she couldn't see before. And there were so many of them. She said, wow. Like she was amazed by that. And I was just saying that there's so much going on around us that it meets the eye. So I know what I've been shown, and I've seen this, and I've seen it firsthand. And one time my mom too, she was waking up and she was kind of confused, and she looked over at me. I'm like, "Did you see God, Mom?" Because I don't know why asked her that. And she looked at me and she winked. I said, and she winked at me like I did. But she was confused looking, and I'm like, "What's going on, Mom?" I said, what did God look like? I said, "Did God look what you thought God looked like?" And she's like, but she was smiling, like she was confused, like, wow,
That's cool.
God didn't look what I thought God was supposed to look like. But she told me, I was like, "Is God good?" And that's when she smiled at me and she goes, "You can say that." And like she was out of it, like couldn't even talk, but her energy was enough to tell me these things. It was pretty spiritual for me. And after my mom passed away, it's literally, I felt like that was when I started to blossom more. And it was just pretty amazing. That's just a little story I wanted to share with the other side. It does exist. It does exist. I promise you that, because I've seen it.
One of the things I wanted to mention about with this whole "Am I Enough?" When I did this little thing this morning, this video about knowing yourself. Okay, this kind of ties into where we're going. Even at I think it was the Temple of Apollo, it's inscribed on that temple where Delphi, the temple, it's at Delphi, the Temple of Apollo, hence Delphine, but it says know thyself. I mean, yeah, that's a portal in so many respects. But when we talk about dimensions, what if you need to know yourself before you can move forward? I mean, it's in its simplest form. Right, but that's what I'm saying. That's just it. We have to, I think this is one of the best steps that we can do. I mean, this is what Spirit gave me today to give to people, that we have to take an honest look at ourselves. Are you enough? Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's what you are, what you're capable of being. Also, you have to, if you're a procrastinator, okay, don't procrastinate so much. You have to try and be a better version of yourself. You have to be working on yourself. These are little things, you know. This isn't some like Temple of Doom spiritual type of thing, you know. Like we're diving like Indiana Jones, and guess what? You can channel spirit. No, this is about your knowing yourself.
Yeah.
Look at yourself, know yourself, embrace yourself.
Perfect word, embrace. That's just it. We
Now,
are.
before I go any further, I want a cone of silence, Chief.
Oh man.
Sorry, I enjoy him. I'm sorry, I love Dennis. Jason's like, really?
Jason will get used to it sooner or later.
No, I love it. I totally love it, man. That's awesome. That's what makes us good. Like you said, this is just about, hanging out, and just chilling. That's what it is. Just hanging out with some friends, some soul family, and just kind of just talking about some things. And that's why I want people to know is I wish I could literally go reach out and hug all of you guys. That's what I feel like. I feel like we don't do enough hugging anymore, and enough like physical touching. and not a handshake, because handshakes are actually business agreements.
I don't like fist
Handshake-
bumps either.
The handshake was never designed to as a greeting for people. It's a business interaction and a business transaction when you handshake somebody. That's a true story. Why do you think the Freemasons and all these other, and they're listening, I know they are. Why do you think they have secret handshakes?
Dude, if you're gonna hug me, hug me. Don't give me that little pat.
Yeah.
Squeeze me, damn it. Come on, get in. There you
Exactly.
go.
But
That's it.
Here's the thing. I mean, like if you told somebody, like honestly, like somebody asked me if somebody's a narcissist, you know, like that was a question the other day. Like, what do you do with the love if somebody's stuck on themselves and can't move? What do you do if you just keep giving them love? How is their energy going to react? It's the same no matter if they're narcissistic or not. I feel like if you give somebody's love, okay, like I say, I just come up to somebody, I'm talking to them, I'm like, you know what, I know this person needs a hug. Can I give you a hug? Most of the time, people are going to look at you like, that's weird. Don't touch me. Get away from me, weirdo. And that's something because we've been programmed to say, hey, this person must have they're either sick, perverted, they have an ulterior motive to why they want to do this. And really what you're doing is offering a genuine place that, hey, I know you need a hug. To say, hey, and just the interaction of the hugging is saying everything's going to be, even if you don't say a word, just a quick hug tells them embracing heart to heart. That's why you hug. It's heart to heart. It's consoling. That's what you don't have to say anything. The heart to heart is what sings because you are enough. And you're telling that other person when you hug them, you are enough. So that's why I feel like we've been stuck to being at home and not doing things and even saying hello to people anymore and doing all this stuff because they want us to be away. The human touch is the most magical thing. That's why we come here as well. Besides learning these lessons, is to experience things like hugging, kissing someone. Because love is shared in the spirit, but also just that physical touch. Because as a spirit, this flesh suit, you can't physically touch things. So it's a new sensation for you to learn to take that into your soul. So that's what even like somebody kissing you, even if you like your loved one, you gently grab them by the head if you want to kiss them, and you kiss them lightly right where the third eye is.
Don't start, Dennis.
Right where the third eye is. And by you gently kissing the third eye, that tells their soul, it's okay. Relax. Things are beautiful. It's a sense of calm. Seriously, try that.
No, I agree.
Energetically, it's the heart and this. These deceive. This deceives. The heart doesn't.
There's two places that I kiss: forehead and cheek by the ear. And basically that I think the angels come and talk to us at night. And and mothers will do this when their baby's down there, they don't want to disturb their baby. They kiss them on the forehead or they kiss them on their cheek, and it's right by their ears. There's no other way to say it's like saying I love you into the ear. So, but you know you want to hug me. You do. You want to hug me.
Just even like your own children. Like I wish I would have hugged my children more growing up, but we would get so busy, and then when they got to the point where they started getting older, they wanted no, there wasn't like no handshake. I'm gonna do my thing, you kind of do your thing. You know what I mean? But it was the fact of that was a part I feel on myself as the parent where that kind of started to separate for them, because then they separate from there as well, and it just keeps branching off this way. And all of a sudden we're out with all these feelers out, and no one has actually come back together to hug each other or be interacting with each other like that. So, and I feel like that's where it starts. Like for myself, same thing. I mean, I wish I could have done more of that with my children as well. And I hope that I'm encouraging them to do more of that for themselves now and my grandson. So for my daughter as well. So it's a big thing for me. It's a big thing. I've learned a lot about myself, and even becoming a grandfather. I mean, even my thought process has changed, I mean, seriously. And I feel more connected to my grandson than I do my own daughter. And not saying I don't love my daughter, but what I'm saying is my grandson, I feel like I've been connected to him before he was even born. Like I know him. I've known him. And just meeting him for the first time a couple of months ago or last month, it was pretty amazing. Pretty amazing thing. And I gave him some little healings and everything and try to remove past life stuff for him so he wouldn't have such a rough time going forward, you know? So that's something that I feel like that, and the funny thing is even holding him even brought so much love to my heart, even just watching him smile and just like, I didn't even know from my heart, even when I feel like my heart is open, because I open up to a lot of people, but when I see him, same thing is like his genuine love and his light, and it just smiles and it just brings joy to my heart, like to the point where it's like, wow, like it's pretty awe. I mean,
Well, you're witnessing pure innocence. There's
yeah,
nothing.
exactly.
There's nothing more innocent than a baby, especially
Yeah.
a newborn. I mean, there's a certain smell about babies. I'm sorry, they're about 90% smell the same,
Yeah.
and
Well, at certain times it can smell a little bit different.
they
but, you know,
they can cook. You're right, but in general, babies kind of have a similar smell overall. I always say that's the smell of innocence, you know, and hold on to that smell for as long as you can,
Yeah.
because it goes away. But it's no different. Okay, let's just use a new car smell. New car smell. Everyone knows what a new car smells like because they bottle it and they spray it in the cars.
Right.
A baby is something that we are immediately recognize, whether you're a male or a female. Females more than men, don't get me wrong, because of that mother instinct. But when a male, you smell that innocence. That should be bottled. Honestly, that is a beautiful smell, and it's no different than what we're getting as far as am I enough? You just your domino effect created another beautiful life on this world.
Yeah.
There's nothing greater than being a mom in my eyes. Nothing.
Yeah.
Take all these gifts, keep them. A mother,
Right.
a mother. My goodness, I'd trade my place with you after childbirth, but I would. I mean, there is that we don't create as men.
Yeah.
We plant seeds. We're farmers, but we do not bear the fruit. Is there anything more beautiful in this world? I'm sorry, it's hands down.
Well,
Hands
women,
down, that's the most beautiful thing in the world.
this is how special every one of you are, you ladies. You guys have a divine portal from
Mhm.
God. Your portal, when you give birth, that's a portal that's come from the divine to the earth plane through you. Through you. So I want you guys, for a lot of you women that are like, oh, you know what, I need a man to take care of me. No, you are enough.
no,
And same thing with you men who maybe leeching on women and all these other things. Dude, get it together, man. It's time to be enough for yourself. And everything we do, like I see a lot of people ask me questions about other things. It's like, should I do this? Should I do that? What does your spirit tell you to do?
Mhm.
That's, I don't mind. I love reading and helping from spirit. But also, I always say, I feel a lot of you already know these answers.
Of course they do.
And when you get the confirmation, it's like, okay, that's what I thought. I can take a breath now. You've been holding your breath like the whole time, even though you knew the answer the whole time. That's what I feel like. I almost feel like that. Seriously, Dennis. Like when some people get their answers, I
I
almost
agree.
feel like they've been holding their breath, almost like, oh shit.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I got the answer that I knew was coming because you
Or
already
that
knew it was
aha.
there.
Oh,
Yeah.
or that aha. Yeah. And again, that's one of the things that, are you enough? I mean, I'm going to take this to a little bit of the information, if you will. We're out there searching for information. We're really searching for knowledge. There's so much out there. Okay. There's so much out there. Everyone got their little portion. Okay. And everyone got a little bit of piece of the pie. We all don't have all the answers. But when you're out there continuously searching, you're doubting yourself.
Yeah.
Okay. You have to, at some point, you have to stop realizing that the answers aren't outside. That's why we go in. When you get know yourself, and when you come in, the whole idea of going inside is to come out, but to come out learned, to come out with knowledge. Then we can disseminate this knowledge. But the information out there, are you enough? Yeah. Okay. How much information is out there? Tons.
Yeah.
How much knowledge is out there? A spoonful. A spoonful. Look for substance. And yeah, but you really do have to embrace the fact that if you're searching, the answers are right in that mirror. You're searching. It's right there in front of you. You just have to take that confidence and listen and breathe and understand that you are powerful. And I get that some of us can't see that or are not willing to see it. But in this chat, in this room right now, there is no one here that would bash you for 1 second on any weird thing that we throw out. We've thrown out some weird stuff, let's be honest. And most people are like, oh yeah. And as you said, Jason, where you're more connected to your grandchild than your own daughter.
Yeah.
We're more connected to people in the chat than we are in our own families in many cases. There's a reason for that.
Oh, I feel you. I mean, I think there's a lot of connections here. I mean, with all of us.
Mm-hmm.
Keep trying to get the thing in my center. But yeah, I mean, when it comes down to it, I mean, I feel like it starts with, like you said, we're looking outside. We're looking outside for answers. We're looking outside for a lot of things. And you're right. There is a lot of information. Like even me, I'm learning some stuff this last 2 weeks that I'm like blows my mind for things that have put puzzle pieces together for me when I'm like, what is going on? Like, this makes no sense. This makes no sense. And all of a sudden I can put puzzle pieces together. I'm like, that makes sense now.
So you observe.
Holy crap. But it's like, wow. And it was and I feel like that was like, exactly. I was able to step back and it's like, okay, if I pull this piece, look back at it now and like step back, I'm like, makes sense. Wow, resonates with my soul, feels good. So, and I feel like that's what a lot of people are trying to do, put their puzzle pieces together, but they never will. They never will if they don't start working on themselves. And I'm talking about like the fears. There's a lot of fears, and I see that with a lot of people. A lot of
fear with the unknown.
Fear of the unknown.
And I'm going to call Dennis out here.
Yeah.
No.
Dennis, no.
I was going to say the same thing. I was going to call Dennis out too.
He asks a lot of questions. Do you think those questions are for him?
Nope.
Not at all.
95% of the questions that I ask are not for me because I already know the answer.
They're to make us think.
Yes.
And that's the bottom line. I mean, everyone goes, oh, good question.
Yeah.
Yes, it was. Listen, That's just it. I know for a fact that man does that humbly. And honestly, there's no greater teacher sometimes than sometimes you have to hear it, sometimes you have to see it. And Dennis takes one of those roles. He's like, he puts it out there. This is a man of few words, but if you listen to the questions, he speaks volumes.
Oh,
plain and simple. But that was a lot of love, Dennis. I'm just letting you know. It wasn't a call out like,
You're still not hard.
Okay, corral. Excuse me, hold on. I agree. I'll be right back. Excuse me. I just got blasted.
You got blasted? Back blast area all clear, as we used to say in the military. Before we shoot an AT-4, so back blast area all clear. He's getting blasted. But yeah, I feel like it's exactly right. I even say that about Dennis a lot too. I mean, Dennis doesn't say a lot, but when he does say things, like if you really, it's the context to the words that he does choose. That's what it is. That's the special part of what Dennis, when he speaks. You don't have to be the talker like me, just flap your gums all the time. But, to get your point across, it's the fact of it's the intention. It's the intent. It's like you said, he puts these questions on, not for his own knowledge, because he's already resonated with the stuff that he's asking for. And I know that. He doesn't have to use his own hard-earned money to ask these, but he just does it to spread the knowledge for people that, wow, the aha moments for them, like, okay, that makes some sense. I was thinking about these things. So that's a bigger picture than himself, once again. And it's kind of like what, that's Dennis's way of kind of doing like what I'm doing. I got out here is to help other people, but I do it in my way. Dennis does it in his way. Joe does it in his way with people contacting him all the time. I feel like we've all kind of found our little niche of where we need to develop to help
own
others.
unique gifts.
Yeah, exactly. I am enough.
Yeah.
That's what this is honestly boiling down to. It's I am enough. You're special. Every one of you guys, literally. I mean, you chose, even though we may not like who we chose, but we chose our mom and we chose our father. Our mother and father, we chose them before we came here. And there's a reason why we chose them. Later on, I may come back. Who knows? I may who knows? I mean, I may be someone else's parent who may have been my parent before.
Lord help us all.
Yeah, exactly. It's like that whole thing my mom used to say, hey, careful what you wish for. I'm going to laugh my ass off when you have a kid and see what they do to you. That's kind of what God has done in a way. If you think about it, God's like, yeah, I see you. See, his lights are flickering. And it's like a father for us. It's literally like that. He's going to love you and he's going to let you trip on your face and bust your head open.
How else are you going to learn?
Exactly. Dust yourself off. We'll put a Band-Aid on you or we'll dry off that blood and we'll keep pushing you along and say, hey, go fall again. That's how you're learning these things. And that's what God is doing to us. Even when things are rough and you're just saying that, why me, God? Why? Because I hear a lot of you, because I hear a lot of your energies that way. I hear the why God? Why is this happening to me? What have I done? What can I do? That's the whys. I hear a lot of whys. Why do you think they make you think who, what, where, when, why? The whys. Because why do you think they made it the why at the end? The why. Because that's why you can do all the rest to get, but still don't know why. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And also why it's the final thing. The why is only the beginning.
Right.
It comes before Z.
You see, I knew it was coming. Not the last one.
No, exactly.
Well, you got a sports chair. I'm in an old wooden ass chair from a school. I cleansed it, but it's a hard back. You got like a Ferrari chair there. Damn.
You just got a ergonomically correct.
He's like, I got speakers in the arms and
hell, me, I got to have something hard and old like me inside. It's like, oh, that's comfortable. Oh, I was going to throw that out. I'll take it.
Well, like somebody even asked me a question.
I was looking for a throne, but I couldn't find one.
Somebody asked me a question the other day, and they said it was a question just in general. It was another question to it, but I won't ask that or ever speak of it. So the question that they asked me was, I've had previous energy healings, for instance, in the past, and they haven't seemed to do anything for me. Why should I get another one with you? And then the person asked me, can you pull cards for me, like out of nowhere? Can you pull cards and see what Spirit has of why this has been this way? And I didn't even have to pull cards. Spirit literally told me right then and there, it's because this person doesn't believe.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't believe. And that's a true story. This comes back to what we talked about the other day. God is saying, hey, I'm here. We're at that ledge. And God is saying, I am here for you. Take that step. Don't be afraid. Release this fear and just go. I will help you. There's nothing to be afraid of because you're going to keep coming and keep learning these lessons, no matter if it's in this time or next time or next 1,000 or whatever this is going to go. God's saying, I'm here. Take a step. Don't be afraid. And some of you are taking the step because if you don't fully believe, you're going to go another way. If you believe fully, you're going to walk to me. And a lot of us are saying, I'm ready. I'm doing this. I'm ready. I'm ready. And then we take a step and we fall right into the canyon because we didn't believe. There's a difference between I believe, and I tell people that. I believe when I'm telling people to release things from past life, or even in this traumas that they've had as younger people, or whatever situation in their life is, I'm telling them we have to let it go and not say I forgive from here, forgive from here. That just means that the burden no longer is yours to bear.
And see, I think there's a difference between believe and belief.
Exactly.
A belief to me is the hope, and it's something that you know deep down, your belief. But to believe is actually a question. I don't know if I believe that. Okay, yeah. But in other words, belief is something that is, there's the possibility, or it's, I know it, I feel it, one of the two. But believe, you know, I mean, I put it this way, it's just one of those things where if you can't consider believing, then how can you actually contemplate your own beliefs? I mean, if things aren't possible, like if you shut yourself off to something like, no, that's not even possible, not a chance. Right there, you've already made up your mind. Okay, that's you have to have faith, and belief ends with the F. I mean, it really is a telling thing of faith is at the end. I mean, you have to have that faith within there to be able to go, wow, maybe. It may be not, but if you cut it straight out and knock it down, it's not going to happen. It's not.
Yeah.
Faith comes from within.
Mm-hmm. It does. It does. And that's what, honestly, I can tell people that no matter what it comes, like if it's the energy healing that person was speaking of, even asking me a question through the tarot, for you guys who are into this stuff too, even pendulum, see how my light just got bright? It's because it tells me there has to be belief that comes with this. Not only belief of the person that's channeling, belief of the person who's receiving the message. Mm-hmm. It's a loop that we are working together with guides. So that's what people, you have to believe that you're open to this experience. And this experience, and that doesn't mean just with tarot, that means everything. Mm-hmm. We're in a loop, and there's breaks in these loops that we have to complete this circuit in order to move forward and progress. There's breaks in these circuits, and that tells us that there's whatever this is, it's a blockage, something that you're afraid of. And there's a lot of people I know who are afraid of a lot of things. Not saying that I'm, you know, I have my fears too. My fears is my grandson. That's the true story at this point.
Come beat you up.
My fear is my grandson. You know, it's because, like you said, the pure energy, the purity in him, and then seeing what I know about this world. You know, that's the part that is not fearful, but protective, very protective. And I feel like that's something that I want people to know as well. It's like, you know, that means protecting yourself as well. Like, that's just my example of something that made me think differently. Made me think differently about what I do and how it affects myself and affects others. But I can't change anything. I can't heal others, and I can't even read. A few years ago, Spirit would have told me, you're not ready for this journey, not even close. You have a lot of work to do. And I feel like that's what I want people to know is, like, you are in your life exactly where you're supposed to be. No matter if you think you are or not, even if it's for temporary, you are where you're supposed to be at that given time, doing exactly what is supposed to happen. Now, will you have choices in that scenario? Yes. But you are where you're supposed to be. And that's what I want people to realize is, like, it comes to, if you are where you're supposed to be in it. Believe that you're going to make a difference, or whatever you're doing is then you're doing something better in that energy of where you are. And that starts with being a better you, letting go of these fears, these doubts about what others think about you, even in relationships. I know it's hard because we're so tied together. It's hard. I don't want to upset my wife. I don't want to upset my husband. If I tell him this because I don't feel like this, or my brother, my sister, my mom, because that's a fear of what we think someone's going to project onto us, a reaction. So we're already predetermining the reaction So our action that we present is already predetermined. Then when it doesn't happen, we're like surprised, like, wow, that went better than I thought it did or was going to. I hear that all the time because we put the energy out, that negative, and it's always like the fear that everything is fear-based, fear-based, fear-based.
Can I tell you my experience with Min Chow? I just had a healing with her.
Yeah, absolutely.
Talking about beliefs and believing. I'm not one that's skeptical of something like this. I felt it from Jason, and I didn't even get a full healing from him. Okay. What Min Chow showed me, the funny thing about what she did, I did feel the healing. I could feel the energy. I was literally playing with the energy when she was doing this. And she was asking me, "Do you feel lighter?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm sitting here playing with this energy in my hands." And this is, I didn't understand. I mean, I feel energy. I see it. This was something new. This was something different. I was playing with it. And I can honestly say I recreated it 3 times since she did her healing to me. I just followed what she said, and it was there. And now I'm a person that I was healed by a tree. I think I'm not one of these people that are going to go, I want more of that. I'm thankful for what I got. Okay. I can do some things a lot better. But I'm not sitting there going back. I got to get me more of that.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is I felt this real energy. It's no different than me feeling a person, me stepping inside their energy. I felt it. I recreated it after it was over. 2 days later, I was like, I got to see if I can do this. Pretty damn cool. That's all I can say. Pretty damn cool.
Yeah,
And
100%. Yeah, I went through the same healing, and it didn't last like the first time with somebody else for for a couple hours or whatnot. But with her, it was for actually about 3 or 4 days now,
mm-hmm.
and you could feel the energy. Yeah.
Yeah, and that was just it. I think we're all healers deep down. I mean, that's really all we want to do is help people. I think if you're willing to help someone, you're a healer.
And there's different ways to heal.
Exactly. And I was just going to say that some will heal with words, some heal with energy, some heal with hearts, some heal with actions. Yeah, laughter. There's so many ways to heal, but I didn't realize, just kind of like that feeling of unconditional love. You have to experience it. But not only did I experience this energy, I created the damn thing. She taught me how to do it. Now, do I know how to use it yet? No. But I can tell you right now, she taught me that it's there.
Wait till she
attunes. I'm looking forward to that. I will be perfectly honest with you. But and I am someone like, you're right. I mean, she says you don't do enough to heal yourself, and no, I don't, because other people have needs other than me. I'm real happy with where I'm at right now. I don't want to go back and say, oh wait, there's more cookies in the cookie jar.
Yeah.
I'm good. Let someone else have a cookie.
I love cookies.
I'm glad Christmas was over. That's all I can say. My wife was on a baking bonanza. I'm like, please don't do that.
You know what I've been digging lately? Like my mom used to make, and this is funny, like my mom used to make me these no-bake oatmeal cookies. Like she put cocoa and peanut butter and oatmeal.
And I love this.
Put them in the refrigerator, and we eat. Oh man, those are the best. My wife's been like, hey, can you make me some of these cookies? And I love these things, man. That's like the only ones I eat. It's like a Reese peanut butter cup, and it has oatmeal in it too. So I love those things. So my mom used to make those for me. So she made them for me one day, and I thought that was pretty awesome. So
I got news for you. You're supposed to make them where your wife is. That was just right there. You got to do this, because you better be able to pass that down to your grandson.
No, we're going to. We're going to.
I mean,
I told
Yeah. It's one of those things where there's something about grandma's house.
Yeah.
And we want to be grandma's house. Okay. We are technically, but like there are certain smells that you can remember from your family. Maybe it's just me, but they made something a certain way. They when grandma was cooking and you went to grandma's house, you opened the door and you knew instantly what was being cooked because it's slapping you around like, yes, get in here. We don't do those things today. I mean, I do still, but I've walked into people's homes and it's just one of those things where, oh, I'm cooking something. I can't smell a damn thing.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're cooking, but there is nothing that's sitting here going in my body right now going, mm-hmm. I'm just saying it's just it's that experience. I mean, listen, just it can be as simple as making a sandwich. If you put a little bit of love in it, it's a better sandwich. Not because I did anything special. I just put a little care in it. Just like we're talking about here. Give yourself a little love. You are enough.
Yeah.
Give yourself that opportunity. Let yourself believe. Really, you're good. You can be good at this. That's where I'm going with this. It's not just me. It's not just us. It's within everyone. You just gotta believe. You just have to.
And that's where it starts. I'm so grateful for the people who, even said things, about the healing with Min Chao. She always asks how you are doing. And I'm like, well, I haven't heard anything yet, but I said, so far, the few things I did hear, they were very good, and I feel like that's something like I want that. And it comes back to what we talked about. It only is effective because they were open and believed that this was going to benefit them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to bust out Dennis here too now. Dennis actually asked me in a question to the tarot, and I know he was probably doing it for others as well, but he was like, hey, if I get this energy healing, will it help me? And I said, yes, it will kickstart you to healing, but you're still going to have to put in the work.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, but you will feel something immediately that's helped you. So I feel like that's something that people need to realize. Like, even though something like it's just a little bump, remove some things, but it still works back to we have to work on this every day.
Mm-hmm.
Every day. Because even now for me, like there were some things I just learned recently, like this last week or two, that I'm like, wow, my wife was so angry and just like not at what she learned too, same thing. She was just like flipping out. And I actually had to tell her, and I'm usually the hothead. I says, let's do it, man. Let's do Ren and Stimpy time. I'm okay with that. I don't mind the Ren and Stimpy time. I used to box. I'm a martial artist. I don't mind that stuff. But beside the point is, she was so she just agitated. She was just like, fuck these people. I mean, excuse my language, but she's like, these people are these criminal, evil people are just so bad. Like, I just, that's what my wife was saying. And I told her, I said, babe, you have to calm it down, relax. Mm-hmm. I said, I know we're learning things. I said, but you know what? We're going to have to forgive these people. These energies have to be forgiven. Doesn't mean you don't forget, but you have to forgive because that's something that you learned. Now you don't have to have the burden anymore. She's like, oh, I see what you mean now by letting go or forgiving. Mm-hmm. It doesn't mean you forget. It just means you forgive, and it's no longer your burden to hold because it was brought to you. Does that make sense for people?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That's belief in letting go. My wife is like, something is going on with me energetically. She told me this the last couple of days. Something is changing inside of me for the better, though. She's like, I feel something is changing inside of me. And I feel like that's something I had a couple of nights. Funny, she said this the last couple of days, but 2 nights ago, I couldn't sleep. I was asleep, but I wasn't asleep the whole night. Mm-hmm. I could not fall all the way asleep. After my reading, all the readings that I did, 60 readings that night. After the reading, I even took some time, chilled out. But then after that, spirit was still just bouncing all over. And I even cut them off, but they were just, everything was wanting to come to me. I was seeing figures of light beings. I mean, there was at least 5 around my bed that I saw. And this is stuff that I'm telling you. So it tells me like and then but I didn't feel upset. I didn't feel anger like, man, I'm not getting any sleep. I was just like, you know what? I know that they're here. They're watching over me. They're showing me this. And that's what I want people to know. Like, you're not alone. You may be in a room by yourself, but you're not by yourself.
The times that I've experienced that, it like woken up and it like automatically came out of my mouth. There's rules.
Exactly.
You know, like, why are you here? You know, it's like,
there are rules.
Mm-hmm.
There are rules.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't feel the rules are what we've been told they are.
Agreed.
But there are divine rules that God said, hey, we don't do this. We don't do that. If we do this, we're going to have to work through that and move in a new direction to get
If
you
you
back.
do this, you get the DeNozo slap on the back of the head.
That's right.
Exactly.
Dennis,
like a dad. It's like your
Dennis.
father. I'm going to smack you on the ass if you need a spanking. That's
I
what this is about. I'm telling you. He's telling you. God said, I'm letting you go.
No more chills for you. No soup for you.
No,
I'm sending you to the playground. That's what he did. I'm sending you to the playground. You're going to find some bullies in this playground. You're going to find some people that you're going to like, just like at the schoolyard. We're in one big schoolyard, guys. That's the truth. Why do you think they created school? That's what we're in, a school of life. We're learning this stuff. This is God saying, hey, I'm going to throw you all together and see what you do. He already knew what we're going to do. But he's like, you need to learn. You need to learn this stuff on your own, the hard way, and get those scabs, get those bumps, get those bruises. Pull your hair out.
I'm going to give Dennis something real quick. Dennis, I saw your comment in the chat. I have 3 coffee makers brand new on the shelf. Okay, one day I woke up and the coffee pot was dead.
You killed it.
It wouldn't work. And God bless my wife. I had just had my heart attack and was back 3 days. I can't run out and get a coffee maker. I have to wake my wife up and say, honey, coffee maker's dead. And she looked at me like,
so
yeah,
what do you want me to do about it?
I'm like, look, you know, I'm being nice because the doctor told me I can't drive. I said, but I'm getting in that car and going and getting a coffee maker. And she's like, I'm up. I'm going. She brought home 2. That's like, if this ever happens, there's one on the shelf. So I keep extra coffee makers, and yes, I have 3 percolators also.
I usually have spares for just about everything, but coffee maker I didn't. So
yeah,
that's going to change.
Yeah, there was nothing worse than that. And like, you know, I tell the story, like, you know, 3 days out of the hospital, I had my heart attack.
But is it enough?
It was not.
Do I need more?
Yes, 2,
right?
3 will do it. 3 will do it. Trust me.
Well, that actually, you know what? That just triggers something with me, Dennis, when you say, but is that enough?
You're welcome.
That comes back. That's true, though. You're like, oh, you know, I know you said it jokingly, but is that enough for you?
Everyone's different.
Well, he was just making a joke about just the coffee, but that comes back to the same scenario we talked about. Is that enough for you? You know what's enough for you. No one else does. Don't compare your enough to someone else's enough. Because it's never going to be that. You're never going to feel fulfilled. You can search for things. I would say, I want a mansion. I want 10 cars. I want all these things. If I want my own island like people have, I want this. But, you know, you can have all that and still be searching for the enough.
I just want a good coffee maker. No Keurig. Bad.
You're old school. I want to hear that.
I want a percolator.
I have a percolator. I break it out a couple times a year. I love percolated coffee. Oh man, on the stove. Oh, yeah, it's wonderful.
And my wife drinks that sometimes too.
I mean, filtered water through the roasted coffee beans.
Yes. The ground up coffee beans.
Yes. Well, you know, you got to get all the little nooks and crannies there.
So Lisa.
Jason, you had said something about how you just brought up, or is that enough with like the coffee maker basically saying everyone's different. In so many senses is in a certain way. Okay, are you prepared? Okay, like I'm prepared. I have extra coffee makers. Are you prepared? I mean, we do have to prepare. We have to put the work in. Again, same kind of scenario, play the words around a little bit, but yes, I am prepared because I got a couple more coffee pots on the shelf because I put the work in.
Yeah.
So at one point I learned my lesson of there's no coffee maker. And I have to go up and tell my wife, who worked all night, that I'm going to go and get a coffee maker. And she's like, "You're not driving the car." You know, I call that person game face. My wife's game face came out. You're not going anywhere.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I'm prepared, and it's because you did work. You put the work in.
Exactly. And that's like what Lisa was saying, like being Lisa. I mean, she was like, well, what is enough? As I mentioned before, the enough is just a made up construct in your own mind. The enough. And like I said, you could have all the things. Let's say you're searching. Let's say, okay, I know what I need now. I just need money, all this money so I can pay for all the things freely and do what I want. But when you have that, I promise you, you're going to be searching for something different, because you're going to have that void that was open that you were searching for is filled. Now you're going to have another void you're going to search for it to fill. Those are energetic loops that you're closing. So it tells me, like, if you're enough has to start from within. You have to be at peace with what you have at the time. And what I mean is just at the time, because you are where you're supposed to be at the time in your journey. So you have to just know that that's enough. You are enough in that situation. Like, what can I do to become more spiritual? I could give you ideas of things that I've done, but is that going to be enough for you?
Right.
Don't know. That's a big word. Enough is a big word.
It depends on whether or not you feel that you're fulfilled enough yet.
Exactly.
Agreed.
Searching for the enough. Because our enough is God. When we connect back with source, that's the enough. That's when we would no longer have to search, because we have it. And I'm going to tell you that dream I mentioned before, and I'm not going to say the name of the person, but when I was in this dream, it was, Mr. Orange Hair in this dream, but I felt like I wasn't in the dream with this person. I felt there was another spirit or God or Jesus or something, because when I hugged Mr. T in this dream, I started sobbing like a baby, and I felt the most love I ever felt in my life. It was so powerful. Like, I felt like I was enough at that. That's what I felt like. Welcome home. You're enough. Like, I just started sobbing, like, thank you. I love you so. Like, it was that powerful. And I'm not a huggy, lovey type. Like I mentioned, that's something I wish. If I looking back, I wish I could have done that a little bit more with my children, a little bit more huggy and things like that. Same thing with my family growing up. We weren't really like huggers and all that stuff, It's literally, it's just, that's what we were. That's how we did it. But when I hugged Mr. T, I don't feel it was Mr. T. It was just something, because I asked about a question regarding him, and that was the response I got to make sense of this. But I felt it, and I was just like, oh my gosh, it was so beautiful. Like, I wish I could share that moment with everybody personally. Like, if I could share that and let you feel how whole and how loved I felt and how warm I felt, it was so beautiful. I mean, I can't even put it into words.
I know the feeling.
But it comes down to acceptance. I mean, it basically told you there that you are what you said. You are enough.
Exactly.
That's what that was. I mean, in the simplest of terms, that's what I tried to do this morning, put it into simple terms that we can all wrap our head around, because everyone's out there searching, looking for fluff, and all what you're doing is making someone, like I said, this person I was talking about, they have over 200,000 subscribers. There's not a divine gift in this person at all. There's
Yeah.
more divinity in the chat than there is in this person.
Yeah.
But everyone thinks this person's important because he spews out data. No, he's good at feeding you.
Yeah.
Okay. He's not fulfilling you. He's feeding. And because
Yeah,
you're
too
just going
busy.
knowledge. Well, actually, you're sitting there going information, but there's no knowledge. It's just info.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It's satisfying the urge of information, but you're there. There's no satisfaction in the knowledge.
They're too busy looking
Really?
for the tangible.
Jesus.
They're too
Yeah.
busy looking for the tangibles instead of the intangibles.
Exactly. That's a true story, because then we feel our intangible is based on the worth of the tangible that we have in our possession. So those two are tied together very closely.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
I
It's
agree.
like, okay, I have fear that I'm not going to be able to have a roof over my head or my family. I have a fear. Okay, am I a good dad? Am I a good mother? Am I a good brother? That's things that I even ask myself. Am I a good brother? Am I the shitty one in this relationship? You know, those are things like, that's me. You know, like saying, is this something? Is this something? Is it me? Do I have to step back and look myself in the mirror and say, is it me?
Right.
Am I the common denominator in some of these things?
Or how about, could I be?
Exactly.
Exactly. Could I be? Because if you, like you're saying, if you approach it as like, is it me? Okay, sometimes we say that rhetorical, like, is it me? Like, no way, it's not me. But could it be? You're right. We have to approach it from that side. Is it possible?
And Spirit also just told me right now with the energies too, is even saying something like jokingly about yourself, like, oh, I'm fat.
Or, oh, that was stupid.
Yeah, or that was stupid. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm dumb. I can't figure this out. I'm dumb. And see, my light is getting brighter, because Spirit is telling me when you do that energetically, you know no difference. Even though you said it jokingly, your energy still processes the same as belittling yourself, pulling yourself down. Oh, I'm dumb. Oh, I can't figure this out. Am I retarded? I mean, no, that word. I'm saying that's the word that I know people probably use a lot of, even though it's derogatory even for yourself. Am I just am I stupid? Like you said, look at me. I'm fat. I don't know. I mean, I feel like whatever. It just, the moment you start saying that energetically, even if you say it jokingly,
you acknowledge it.
And that your energy is automatically tied to that. Your energy knows no difference. It's like somebody insulting you, coming to your face and insulting you the same way. You're going to take it energetically the same way. And when you say it with a smile and jokingly, that's your mechanism to cope with your insecurity.
Mm-hmm.
So you say it in a joking, smiling way to try to lighten the mood up, even though deep down you know this is something that bothers you.
Yeah. I mentioned about how we talk about intent. And like I say Merry Christmas and I say good morning. And I've used it before. A lot of people say Grand Rising because people are, oh, you can't give it. That means a good morning, a good death. No, I'm taking that. I'm capturing my power. My intent is to tell you to have a good start to the day. I'm not going to change my language because someone thinks it means something else. My intent of good morning is not wishing you a good death. My intent is pure. There's definitely a difference, but what you're saying, I just wanted to say that so that we'd all understand that, yeah, when we do that jokingly, but yet deep down inside you admit it. But I'm saying words are powerful, but also recapture your intent into those words is important.
The main thing is the intent.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
You can joke around about stuff and think that know that the words are powerful, but how you intend to use them is all the difference in the world. And it's like when you bless your water or bless your food, it's your intent. And somebody's getting a download, right, Jason?
He's stuck on it. Let him go.
I'll let him go.
Mm-hmm. You got it.
I just got something, like my head was pulsing. I got something with thank you. Just saying that term, thank you, the you part. You thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. I don't know what that even means. I think it's used wrongly. I don't know why. I think when somebody says thank you, because I know what you're saying to what your you is, but I feel like you is, that's what I'm saying is thank you. Because I'm the one that interacted with you, your other person. I feel like that's why they say thank you for you being you. I don't know. I just get spirit. Thank you. There's something to thank you.
I kind of can go with that. It really is. It's not so much thanking yourself.
Oh, there we go. Now
It's honoring yourself. In other words, like okay, I'm getting this. It's like they're direct. No, but you're right. You're right. It's like they're saying give thanks for yourself, and you're right. And I mean, every breath is a blessing.
Yeah.
But they're saying, yeah, you're right. Acknowledge yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I don't know why that was all like.
Here's the thing, and then what I got was when I got talking to
Trying
God,
to get through that curly hair of yours.
I started saying thee. Like I started, like when I was talking to God last night and today, something was telling me to thee. I thank thee.
Mm-hmm.
I thank thee, Father God. Instead of saying I thank you, Father God. You know, even though I know he's connected to me, but I'm saying I don't know what it was. I told my wife and she goes, "You're just being crazy now." Like just being a joking with me. But I got it in before I fell asleep last night. I'm like, there's something with thank you and handshakes and something else. And she's like, just calm your brain, calm your spirit down because it's all over the place right now. And I was like, I'm going to. But I mean, honestly, it's like then today I got this when you said something, spirit started pulsing my head saying, hey, thank you, thank you, thank you.
But no, that's actually it makes a lot of sense because we don't. Do you ever thank yourself? No. But you know, I mean, in all the things I've said, be specific. Or my one neighbor used to say, Pacific, be Pacific. Okay, West Coast. But no, that honestly, Jason, that's a simple term, and that's what we need to understand. Simple things that we can wrap our head around because there's so much crap out there.
Yeah.
And it does just these little steps. And some of us do it like automatically, it comes natural. Others, it's just like, you know, we're walking over dollar bills looking for dollar and quarters. You know, I mean, sorry to say that, but I mean, there's dollars here. Well, I need quarters. Well, why don't you pick up the dollars while you're looking for the quarters? You know, I mean,
exactly.
That's one of those things where the quarters can wait. But yeah, I felt that was there.
Well, there's something to that. I'm telling you. Because I just don't say things like even to my wife, I just don't say things to her unless I feel it strongly, like I get it and it keeps getting beaten into me like, hey, pay attention. You need to say something about this. It needs to come out and other people need to know about this. So I just say these things, even if it makes no sense. Somewhere down the line, this conversation may make a lot of sense. That's what I get. You know, it comes back to the trust, the faith, and what I get is exactly right. They don't question it. Because that's what we do. We start to question because, like you said, we need to have tangible things. That intangible. It's an intangible that I have to make tangible. For the example that Dennis used earlier.
And that's what Dennis does all the time. Dennis throws out a question intangibly for you to think. You know, he throws it out there. 95% of the time, he knows the answers. He's throwing it out there, and it's like if you don't catch it, you know, go back, look at them, you know, see what, and that's just part of using your mind. What's he trying to say? Yeah. And in so many respects, okay, look, the Bible is some of the few good things left in there. They're parables. You're taught lessons by listening, and sometimes those stories have multiple meanings.
Yes, they do.
Again, what's he saying?
Like the prodigal son.
Exactly. So no, that segued perfectly into what Dennis does constantly.
Exactly. He throws a frag grenade. He drops it in there and throws a frag
Still
grenade.
waiting for you guys to catch up. You know, my rope is getting a little bit too long right now.
I'm bringing my stinky dog over and gonna get you the drive-by.
No, that's what Dennis does. Seriously.
Duster.
We're in this room or this box that we talk about. Dennis walks in and takes his fragment grenade, throws it in, and says, "Oops, watch out, this information spread."
Here.
He leaves, and he's like, "Hey, what'd you think of that, huh?"
Well, that's just it. No walls. I won't have none of this.
Right? He's like, "Wait till you see this. Wait till you see this beauty."
Still want that cone of silence, though.
That's all right.
No, I mean that's what I'm saying. It's all good. I mean, honestly, things are changing. I just want people to know that it just you're enough, and I want people to know that is enough. And what I mean enough is like you got to look at it. Your definition of enough is your definition. I'm not saying like for me, like I want to go be a better person. Well, what's being a better person look like to you compared to me?
Right.
Like maybe your path before we got to this path, maybe I'm in a different part of my path than you are, and I just need to be a little bit better than I am now. Not comparing myself to anyone, but I know I need to do a little bit better. And that's what I've changed. Instead of saying I need to be like this or like that or like this and look at this person as comparison. Like I had, because if that was the case, honestly, like I would have been a really bad person with the male figure that I had in my life, raising me as a child, the things that he did. I could have literally gone the other way and been a total scumbag. Total scumbag. But
same with me. Agreed.
That was my comparison to look at. And I already knew right there, I'm better than that. I already knew when I was a child, I'm better than that. And that just tells me like that, but that was my way of, like you said, that intangible, comparing to make it tangible. I'm better than that. That was my ego saying, even when I was a little kid. That's something that it's our defense mechanism. The ego is a defense mechanism because it's our filter. It's to help filter things. And that's why I feel like sometimes the ego just jumps in the way as like a shield and blocks everything around you because you're afraid of. I hope that Dennis is coming back.
Hopefully. Well,
but it's to shield you from things.
But that
shield you from things.
Yeah, that mirror it's right in front of us. You don't have to go out there looking and searching. There he is. Whoa! But
I'm telling you, man.
It's right in front of you.
Absolutely.
It has to start with you. All the bullshit outside. It's right here.
And that comes back to static.
Right.
Talk about static everywhere.
How you doing?
You have your own static even.
Self-imposed.
Self-imposed static. Even for us who've been on journeys for longer than even myself, and I know even Dennis, there's people who've been on their journey from the moment they've been awakened from the moment that they were young. They've been on this journey. And the thing is, see, for them, they still have to grow. They still have to work.
Be right back. Excuse me.
So we're putting in work. No worries. So we're putting in work as well. It's a day-to-day thing. Like I said, we can springboard and give you some ideas, but it's the fact that don't compare yourself to anyone because God only made one of you. He made millions of trees, made millions of fish. But you know what? No two fish are the same. No two trees are the same. We have millions of people, billions of people, or more maybe, who knows, billions of people on this planet, and none of us look the same unless you're a clone. You know what I mean? You were only one of you. God only made one of you. Even those clones, though, God only made one of you, and then they've replicated that. Playing God. So that's what I want people to know. It's like you are enough. So that tells you all you need to know. They are reproducing the same enough. In these labs, they're making more enoughs, but they're not enough because they're not you. Those clones are not them, that original being that God created. That's what I want you guys to know that. That's how special you are. Each one of you has a unique soul. Each one of you has unique appearance. Each one of you has unique gifts. that are tailored to you for the collective, not just for you and your own gain. It's you have all have your own divine gifts for a reason, to spread those gifts when you're good at things, and you're gonna develop. I feel a lot of you are gonna develop really special gifts moving forward. A lot. And that's a true story. You guys are all special. That comes back to, there's no comparing. And if we level this playing field, guess what? We'd all be superstars. That's a true story, because we're all the same. We're all the same. Like, as God, we're light beings. And you choose to not live in the light, that's your choice. You choose to live in the light, that's also your choice. As I mentioned, I could have lived in the darkness. I had a lot of family members who lived in the darkness. I was surrounded by it since the moment I was born, even before I was born. My real father beat my mom when she was 9 months pregnant in a parking lot. I mean, literally, I didn't even know the guy. I mean, he's beaten. They're trying to take me out of this world before I even get here. So, I mean, that's how special things are. I mean, like I said, everything else tells me I don't want to be that. I knew in my heart I didn't want to be that. Now, did I have some things that I had to work on? Absolutely. To this day, I still do, but I'm observing now. I'm coming back and observing. That's the thing I'm most appreciative at this point in my journey, is that fact I'm able to step back now instead of being in it. I'm able to step back from it and watch it from a different perspective and not let it affect me as much or as it used to. And I know that that's something that I will work on more and more, is stepping back and observing.
How do you give the wife
That's
kiss?
what I want you guys to all be, to that point when you guys are comfortable and you're calm and you're at peace. Only when you're at peace, I feel, is when you'll be able to step back and observe. That's what I feel from spirit. You have to be in alignment and in peace in order to step back and observe the whole, because then you can direct the energy in a different way than you would interacting in it.
Right. And when you observe, you learn.
Yeah.
There's I'll give you an example. Christopher Watkins, I don't know if many of you, he's an actor. He has a certain gait about him, how he talks. And I read this article a while back, but he always pauses before he speaks, because everyone in his family spoke 3 or 4 different languages, while the others kind of understood all these languages. They had to kind of pause and go, okay, should I say this in this language or this language?
Yeah.
But that pause, in other words, that momentary break, like you're saying, of being the observer, it's about looking at, zooming out, as Ronnie had said, taking an aerial view, if you will. But once you do that, you can see what led up, and you can see possibly what will transpire. That's one of the best tools out there. But if you can see what this moment is about, you can actually see where it came from, if you only look. And again, that is, you could call it intuitive, but you can't help but connect the dots. If this didn't happen, that's like everyone in here has a particular spot. If I'm just going to pick up someone randomly, okay, I see Cindy Sager. Hi, Cindy Sager. If Cindy Sager wasn't in the chat 6 months ago, I wouldn't have been able to go through my change or some of these realizations. She was there in this when I was going through this. What I'm saying is, we don't think we're all connected. Everything has to line up. It does. Everything has to line up. We are not insignificant roles in each other's lives. We're all here for a reason. Hi, Cindy. Sorry to call you out, but I'm just saying. And full disclosure, I've never spoke with Cindy. I apologize, but thank you for letting me do that. But that's what I'm getting at is I've never met her, but yet she was a part of this. There's no insignificant. Okay, sometimes in these past lives, we come here for a very insignificant role.
Yeah.
But you have to be there. You know, I mean, look at it as a, what do they call it? NPC, non-player character. Well, if that non-player character wasn't there for me to go around, I had to go around it. But if that player wasn't there, then I wouldn't have taken that extra moment to go around. That's what I'm saying. This is so much bigger than we understand. If you could just see it, I mean, I wish you could see it through my eyes.
Right.
It's mind-bowingly beautiful. I mean, you could see that it's not just chance; it's planned. There's no other way to explain it.
You are where you're supposed to be at that given time. Even if you're pissed that you're stuck at a stoplight or you're stuck in traffic somewhere, whatever the situation might be. Oh, it's taking too long in the grocery store line, which I had something that I have to pump my brakes with a little bit more. I'm like, okay, relax. I always pick the slow line because I'm always used to, like I said, that instant.
Be the observer. Be the observer.
Exactly. That's what I've been doing, honestly. And I feel like that's just something like I've been calm and collected because I'm able to do that.
Can I tell you the best thing? The best thing for that. Go wait for the cashier. Don't go through the self-checkout. And see, I actually go to a store where a lot of older people are.
Right.
And the pace is much slower. And they will say, you know, there's a self-checkout line open. I said, I know that puts somebody out of work. I'll wait right here. But see, I'm going to get my groceries bagged. And yeah, oh, there wasn't a price on this. Can you check on this price?
Yeah.
That's the test. That's the, like, most people go, oh, yeah. Take it. It happened for a reason.
Yeah.
There's something beautiful about it. You just don't know it. In other words, when I get something like that, I usually go like this. Okay, that's telling me something. I literally do.
That's what I've been doing.
When that pause comes, I'm like, ooh, what was that?
Same thing. I'm like, that's why I say to my wife now, I'm like, you know what? Obviously, there's a reason why we're in this line. It's to give us patience. It's to teach us patience. Because we would get irritated, and the more we were into those things, that's why these are little blocks that the universe is like, hey, guess what? You have this little trigger that bothers you. I'm going to put it in front of you more, and I'm going to put it in front of you more, and I'm going to put it in front of you more until that's what your dad is doing. He's telling you, hey, you want to learn how to hit a baseball, for an example, you're going to strike out, and you're going to strike out, you're going to strike out, you're going to strike out. But when you hit that thing and you crack it, you're going to get confidence. You're going to move forward. You're going to learn. You're going to, okay, then now we can correct the swing. Now we can do it. That's what I feel like when it comes to this is exactly the same thing.
And can I say one more thing?
Yeah.
Does the store give you anything for self-checking? So going through the self-checkout line? Did they say thank you for working for us?
No.
Okay. I'm just saying. I mean,
I don't ever go through the self-checkout line.
This is a pet peeve of mine. It's a pet peeve of mine. But you're doing their work. In other words, you just took their burden off of them.
Right.
And that's just it. We got to realize other people's burdens are not ours.
Yes.
Just like when you go into a store, if you go to a self-checkout, you just assumed that burden because they went, let's see if this guy's impatient enough to just walk over and not have a person check them out.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, it's one of those things. Your peeve called he's hungry.
Exactly. Wants to keep eating at me like this, like
I missed that one. I didn't see it.
Yeah.
I don't
go through the self-checkout line because within the first 2 or 3 items, usually it's like ding, red light. I have to wait for the person to come over, unfreeze the machine, put their little retarded code in. Sorry, another word again. Yeah. Sorry. Messed up code, which is another barcode, which everything is tied to the bar association.
Exactly. But
but that's another story. Mm-hmm. But honestly, it comes back to this, guys. Honestly, we talk about, don't compare yourself. What I said, the universe is literally, your dad is putting you in positions to fall and to get up and keep moving. Mm-hmm. That's what this is. That's why it keeps coming. Like you said, your peeve is, he's hungry. Yeah, I mean, that's because it keeps it just keeps at you. And that's what it tells. That's something for me to learn. And I've learned as the observer.
Yeah.
I've
He knew
learned
that
all
would stick.
the
He knew that would stick. I'm telling you right now. He knew that would stick. Look at him giggling.
See,
It's like that song that you put in the chat.
See how you can
know?
predict. You can predict the chain of events. He got me today on a song. I give him that one. He got me good.
it's always a good time. So that's why I want people to know, man. That's this one. It's just it's not a
Well,
preaching.
if they all think that, of a spider web and all things are connected, and they are,
Mhm.
all it takes is one person to change something, and it changes the whole.
Yeah.
But just look at the tree of life. Same thing. Even more broader. I mean, everything has to be in place, like you're saying. The spider web, the tree of life. It's all interconnected. It is all interconnected. Every last bit. And we just have to see it. We just have to see it. Now the chat turned to groceries, so I apologize.
So that's okay. That's
Just another rabbit hole.
exactly. Well, that's what it is. Honestly, these are all, there's so many rabbit holes. I'm like, it's overwhelming if you allow it to. But that's me when I see these things now, instead of going straight to anger, where I was like, I am so angry about these things that I kind of knew, and then I put pieces together, and I would be angry about it. I don't do that anymore. I don't honestly, I step back. I'm like, you know what? I smile now. I'm like, because you know what? I'm in a different place. I just smile. I'm like, you know what? That's not even tell her when you're having a bad day, pissed off. Just even smile to yourself, even if you don't want to. Literally, if you have to hold push your face up in a smile with your fingers, just the act of doing that, of smiling, brightens your aura.
Well, Tanya Lene just kind of said it best with a super chat. Thank you for aiding my healing journey to all three.
Absolutely.
I mean, again, that's just one of those things where we all had to be together. We all
And
had
I
to
feel
be
like there was
together.
another super chat earlier. I don't know where it went.
I just happened to catch the big orange box. Excuse me.
Exactly. No, and it starts with that, guys. I mean, like I said, it starts with getting up in the morning or whenever, afternoon, whenever you want to get up, because if you're able to do that, awesome. I mean, if you want to get up and stay up all night, it's up to you. Whatever you resonate with, whatever the situation is, only you know you. That's what I want people to know. It's just something that it comes back to. Everything starts with you, with you, with you. Am I enough? I don't know. Are you?
And honestly, the work isn't hard. I mean, when we talk about putting in work, okay, a smile at someone in the grocery store, a look in the mirror and say to yourself, oh, I look good. These are the littlest things. I mean, these are the things that actually head you down these roads. It doesn't have to be, if you're out in nature and walking, if you're not meditating, then you're missing the point. When you're out there all by yourself, if you're not meditating, if you're not getting into where you're at, I mean, it's like, come on, nature. Wow, hello. I'm just saying, that's a walking meditation. You don't have to be sitting there going, and I need 35 crystals beside me. No, you don't.
You need 36, actually.
Yeah, crystals are a tool. Crystals are needed. And when you're first learning, they help you focus. They do. Crystals placed in a certain way can help amplify. Not always.
Sure.
But what I'm getting at is they are an important thing, that we can use them as reminders. But at some point, you don't need the tools. Now, people had mentioned, I saw someone say something about, do I really need the pendulum or do I really need my rods? Sometimes I need to get very specific. And while they will poke me to get some kind of information out, sometimes you need to focus even your own questions of yes or no. I need to know this. So that tool, I don't think will go away until we reach that Christ consciousness, that higher learning, where we are not just connecting, but we're having not just conversations on their time, but like when we're ready, like, hey, I want to talk. And they're like, yeah, let's go. It doesn't work like that. Right. But I mean, certain things, and my thing is I had said, you don't want to keep these things as a crutch. I mean, rituals are great. It's okay. But at some point, that's like, okay, a crystal transfers power.
It's
I'm a
exactly
watchmaker. A crystal transfers power.
conduit.
Right. It's a conduit. So why do I need that crystal to transfer my power?
Yeah.
My power's here. I don't need this to transfer. This teaches you how to focus. And again, it's one of these things where if you rely on them, then you're saying, I'm not worthy, I'm not strong enough, I'm not powerful enough.
Yeah.
Now, if you think it helps your intent and that's your journey, walk it, live it. Just go with it. Whatever does right for you. All I'm saying is that we are so much more powerful that we just have to believe in our beliefs of being more powerful. We are exactly what God created us. If he wants us to know, it's going to get to you one way or another. So again, just throwing that out there as far as that goes.
You have to learn to relax.
Mhm.
You were guided this far already, you know?
Yes.
And if you just relax and let it come, it'll come.
Hi, David Wagner.
And
Yeah.
Pete called again.
Who? B did.
He did.
Well,
He's still
welcome,
hungry.
welcome, Mr. David Wagner. So, guys, awesome. So,
Cindy gave you a super chat there too.
yeah, Cindy, thank you for the super chat. Awesome. You know,
Sticker. So.
and this is also therapeutic for me as well. You know, I mean, like I try to help you guys. You know, when I read, I try to help as much as I can. You know, with what I have available to me for the short time that we're together. But you know, these tables is different. You know, I still channel energy to you guys all the time, but it's a different type of channeling for me, and I feel like this helps me with at least getting some reciprocated energy.
Right.
And
It's not that you're using the energy. You're enjoying the energy. The energy. Yeah. You're basking in it. It's coming and you're releasing it. It's a totally different thing. I agree.
Different. Way different.
Yeah. But it's a harmony. It really
very
is.
much
It's
so.
a very soothing aspect. I mean, you know, getting back to your, are you enough? What are your wants? What are your needs? Okay. They're two different things.
Yes.
Okay. What do you want is one thing. What do you need is another. I've been dirt poor broke, not eaten for a couple of days. I understand what that's like. I don't forget. I mean, my wife yells at me because I don't want to say that I'm a food hoarder, but if there's a spot on the shelf that a can is missing, I'm putting another can there. Okay. It's not that I have cans loaded everywhere.
He not only has 3 coffee makers, he's got a whole cabinet full of.
I'm a junior prepper. That's all I can say.
He said, when the apocalypse comes, I'm going to have coffee. I'm going to have everything I need in bulk, and we're going to roll.
Yep. Well, I'm low on coffee. I'm down to 10 cans. I'll admit it. But that's not a lot because I go through a can a week, you know, easy, sometimes more. It's a lifestyle. I don't recommend it to people. But what I'm getting at is when I buy things, I replace them. You know what I mean? It's just a habit. I don't go shop for the store for today.
Yeah.
My food's already here. I go to a local farm. I get a half a side of pig. I get beef from a butcher shop that only uses local.
What does the pig do with the other half?
It's not really sure. It was going to flip a coin, but it landed on its edge.
I just bought another quarter cow from a farmer.
Yeah.
And that we know. Actually, funny thing is, my wife took care of this gentleman as a nurse when he got done with the surgery.
Oh, cool.
He found he owns a huge. He used to own a huge ranch. He still has the property, but he doesn't have as many cattle. So he raises them, or you know, they graze. They're just, you know, so everything is organic. I buy huge fryer chickens from this gentleman. He texted my wife. He goes, "Do you know anyone who might want a half a cow or quarter cow that I'm going to send out in 2 weeks?" Because I just bought one in September. So I'm like, "Yeah, hook it up, man." I put them in my freezer, and it's the best tasting pure meat and chicken that I honestly it tastes delicious, man. Like compared to stuff you buy at the store, it's not even close. So if you have that ability, and when we don't, sometimes we even go to the local butcher, and the local butcher gets them from the local farmers that are around, at least where I'm in Illinois. So I feel like if you went to more local and talked to these guys, where do they get their supply of beef? So they're probably local, and they're probably places that's very.
cover the vegans. Sorry about that. But as far as like local grown produce, there's always farmers markets all around you. Most of these people are very small growing for a couple extra pennies, maybe even let's say it's 20 cents more a pound.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's better for you. Yeah, sometimes those 20 cents add up. I understand it. But I mean, set that as a manifest it. I mean, this is what you want to do. Look, I'll be the first one to tell you I can survive on pizza, pasta, spaghetti sauce. I mean, I am not, I mean, I love salad. I am not the cleanest eating person in the world. I know what I eat. I know what I like. If I
How many bibs do you go through?
pardon me?
How many bibs do you go through?
None. I've actually mastered it pretty good. But
He puts the other hand here.
yeah, exactly. But what I'm getting at is it's a better quality of food. And sometimes when you pay a little bit more for something, you appreciate it sometimes because you don't want to waste it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a couple different mentalities there, but there really is a big difference in taste. I mean, it's hard for me. It's hard for me that people don't taste the difference.
Right.
You can almost you can visually see the difference. And some like that's even for me. I mean, when you see a lemon in the grocery store and it's beautiful yellow color,
Yeah,
wouldn't it take? Yeah, thank you. I'd rather have the one that looks a little bit beat up, couple bruises, just like me.
Pick the one off the tree. That's
Yeah,
the one I want.
exactly. Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, there's an illusion there.
Wants a crab apple.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. You gotta. Sometimes it's worth it, is all I'm getting at. And even though it may cost you more and money might be tight, there really is a difference. I mean,
who would you rather give your money to, the grocery store chain or the farmer?
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. Here's the thing.
And the food is much better being grown right from the ground.
Yes.
For some of you who might live in an apartment or something, people are like, well, I wish I could do that. I wish I could grow like some vegetables or something. You could. They have little grow tents you can buy pretty cheaply.
Mm-hmm.
One little LED light in there or whatever, or some little grow light in there, and you could grow yourself in a little tiny tent in the corner of your room.
Mm-hmm.
You can grow some tomatoes, cucumbers,
peppers, anything,
whatever, peppers. I mean, because I have a grow area in my house, in my basement, and I grow vegetables in the wintertime when I'm in Illinois.
Right.
So, I mean, that's just a way of saying, just to work on yourself. I'm eating differently from even the store. That's changing something, trying to be better. Not saying that I'm like all of a sudden on a diet. No, it just, I feel like it's energetically. The reason why I feel the difference is because the energy that went into those products in the first place, the cows were very cared for. They were loved. And when it was time, the energy that's transferred through the meat is that way. The ones that are harshly put in cages and the meat is going to be affected by that. And also the length of time from when it's butchered to when it's put on the store shelf is also a difference than what we're used to. And I mean, those are little things like that. I mean, and I started eating like our vegetables, our own. I mean, just the taste of our vegetables compared to the store's vegetables, not even close. Tomatoes,
not even close.
It's like my wife's like, this is insulting when we get a tomato at the store compared to the ones we grow.
And this year, I did not grow inside. Right now, you can see my wall behind me is pretty clear. We've had some water issues all throughout the summer. They were doing things up the street, sewage lines, everything. I can't wait to grow. And you can afford these things. You can look in Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, look for free stuff, look for used stuff. Grow lights aren't very expensive. They're on Amazon. And okay, if it's expensive for you, okay, but if you're outside and you're buying a fast meal that just costs you $9 or $10, okay, you could have made a peanut butter and jelly sandwich for 50 cents. I'm just saying, it's what your goals, it's what you want, it's what you're willing to do to get what you want. I'm just saying, I mean, when I was poor, where the only place that I could save money was in food. I mean, I could make a meal. Like when I made a meal, I already had 3 meals ahead planned because I know what I can do with that and make it taste totally different or seem to be totally different.
Right.
And again, you love it. I know. Show your face, I say.
Well, the good thing is too, honestly, and that funny thing is when Joe said that he used to sacrifice that, that's what most people sacrifice. After their bills are paid and everything else, they sacrifice food,
right.
Substance for your body. Not talking about Cheetos and Cheez-Its and chips and candy bars and even those granola bars and things like that. Those things, I mean, honestly, it's not, I'm not saying that I'm not a health guru, because that's not what I'm saying, but I mean, being enough, that's what I'm saying about we it's like changing the things that you know you can control. You control growing your own plant and eating from that? Absolutely, because your energy is transferred with that. It's energy transfer. Even when I do healings on my plants, I do healings on them, so the energy comes back to me. Even taking a seed, did you know if you take a seed and you put it in your mouth and then you plant it, that your saliva interacts with the DNA of that plant and actually becomes more in tune and simpatico with your body and more healing when you do ingest these things?
With your voice, yes, it's true.
Oh, Blackwater.
You ain't getting me on this one. You ain't getting me on this one.
Yeah.
I'm
So
way ahead of you.
comes back to you guys, honestly. I mean, we're almost 2 hours into this, and I know we can all say these things, but it comes back to just working on it, guys. It's a work in progress. This is something that we are going to do every day. Every day that you have to work on this. Every day, even myself.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. Yeah. Like Joe said, you don't have to stay there and be like, You don't have to do all that. All you have to do is even just slow your breathing down.
Right.
That's centered exactly like what Dennis did. Just a breath in and breath out. What that does is brings everything into alignment for a quick second. And balances you. Because when you breathe in, you're breathing in the divine breath of God, the creator of all. So you're breathing in his energy. And
just
when you
learn to
breathe
slow down.
Release it. You release everything that doesn't belong. We are transfers of energy, just like everything else in this universe is. It's a transfer of energy. Good, bad, indifferent, whatever the situation is. So I guess the biggest lesson that I would say or just even communication-wise for you guys as well as myself, is stop comparing yourself to anyone else. That's where it starts. I mean, it's a true story, because
learn to understand that we're all unique beings.
Absolutely. My favorite three musketeers, one Canadian fan helping us heal and learn is so needed. You came together for us. Much appreciated. Thank you, Linda. Thank you for the three, Cecilia, also Tanya as well, for all the super chats. Awesome guys. So don't let anyone else tell you you're not enough. Don't think you're not enough. Look yourself in the mirror, and that's what I want to start doing. I'm going to start doing that myself. I'm going to look myself every day in the mirror, and I'm going to say, you are enough. I'm going to point at myself, you are enough. And I'm going to look myself directly in the eyes of myself. You are enough.
Can I tell you what I do?
Sure.
Because my hair is the way it is now, I now experience bedhead or pillowhead. So it's always funny for me to see myself in the morning. I take pride in this. I turn on the light so I can see what my hair is, and I usually giggle about it, and then I say, "You sexy thing," because the hair's everywhere. As little as that is, what I'm getting at is it is kind of like you're saying, thank you. Yeah. You're thanking yourself. But what I'm saying is listen, if we can't enjoy ourselves and like ourselves on top of that, these are just the littlest things that you have to do. I'm not saying everything got to be an affirmation, everything got to be so positive. Just saying, enjoy it. And Dennis is always, and I think this isn't a bad idea. Throw a question out there to yourself that maybe you have to look for. So instead of looking at everyone else's bullshit, you're kind of only focused on one thing. See what that does for you. I mean, I just kind of got that right now, but it's a little change, like something, I don't know, you hear something or whatever, all of a sudden something pops in your head. What is that? Do it, check it out. And I'm just saying it's the little things that we appreciate. And when you find the answer, go, good job. You rock, whatever. I'm just saying, I do it all the time. Like my dogs, I talk to them like they're human, I mean, I know they can't answer me, but I always look at them and go, really? And in my head, I know they're sitting there going, boy, he is
Lord,
really
who
messed
did
up.
that?
Yeah. Welcome to the conversation.
I'm gonna crop dust you in the next 30 seconds. Love you.
Right? Welcome to the conversation. That's what they're saying. Same thing. I mean, honestly, it's true.
I'm here.
And when you say I'm enough or whatever you want to say, do it with a smile when you're looking at yourself. That's what I want you. Smile back at yourself. Smile back at yourself. And the more you do that, the more it's going to become reality. Every time you look at yourself in the mirror, smile at yourself and say, good job. I'm telling you, build your confidence self up, because no one else can tell you anything about your confidence level but you. People can tell you you're beautiful, you're amazing, you look so good. I mean, everything fits you well, and they can compliment the shit out of you. But that doesn't mean anything if you're empty inside. It's like, I don't feel like that's the case. I don't thank you for the compliment, but you start to shy away. What I mean is, because you have that insecurity already in your inside, no matter what anyone tells you, it's not going to fill that void for you. Because you're going to afraid somebody else is going to, one person may say you look beautiful, but that person standing next to them, you might be thinking, that person may think I'm ugly. I guarantee you that's how people think. What does this person think of me? What would they think of me if I said this? And that comes back to you not being enough for you. And we project all these insecurities off onto others. That's why we have triggers, which come back to other shows we've talked about. These are triggers for you because these are things that are inside of you that you need to work on. See, my light just got bright. These are the same thing for me. I have triggers too that I still work on. I still work on them, but I'm able to step back a little bit more now and take a breath, observe. That's what I feel like. I hope you guys, when you guys come to peace and let these things go that have been kicking you in the butt your whole year, all your years of existence on this plane, let them go, man. Let them go. Once you do that, your wings are going to literally open and you're going to be like, wow, this feels so good. What have I been doing this whole time?
Dennis's wings are bigger than yours, I'm just saying.
Exactly. No, I know they are.
He got more pairs. He got more pairs, I know that.
Seriously.
He does. I'm serious.
It starts there, guys.
Well, honestly, I think this was very positive. I like the topic because it was we all kind of had this same thing. And, it really is. I mean, I think people kind of feel when we do these things, and it does stay with them a little bit. And, I mean, like, it stays with me for a couple of days. I kind of go back and I watch the show. And I am the observer. I do see what people react in the chat. I like someone gets it, or someone notices it, or someone freely opens up. These are the things that I notice, or someone that maybe hasn't opened up so much in the past. Now they're starting to get more comfortable and open up. That's the stuff I look for. That's when I know that, or someone will say, I don't usually comment much, or you see a new name in the chat and I know I've seen it before, or maybe I just felt their energy. I'm just saying that's the big positive thing for me. I mean, that we're all moving into one direction. The outcome's the same where we want to go. We're all taking a jaunt. We're all going to the same place a million different ways. But the goal is to be at the same place at the end. But that's our journey. Our journeys are just different. Some might be extremely different. Doesn't matter. The outcome is the same. That's where we're all headed.
Yes, all right, guys. Before we go, I just I just want to let you guys know also in the chat before we go, we're going to say our little last, any parting words that you guys might have. But I want to thank the people in the chat. Yeah. That's a big thing, because the biggest thing I feel with the chat is not only the information, you're going to pick up bits and pieces of the information. Even people who may not be in this live chat now, if you guys can come into these chats, in general, I feel if you're just listening to this after the fact, the energy that you will receive is so healing and fulfilling and opening, because I feel like that's the reason why we're coming together. It's not just the three of us, it's all of us. It's all of us, all 70 some or whatever, how many we get up to at any time. That's all of us together collectively healing not only ourselves, but healing others. And I was saying it starts with you guys in the chat. So when new people come in, I love how you guys welcome them. Welcome. Thanks for joining in. That's so beautiful. That's like the hug we talked about. It's your way of hugging them, saying, hey, welcome to our family.
Welcome home.
And welcome home. Exactly. See, I'm getting tingles all over the place now. So it tells me that's exactly what it is. That's our hug. That's our hug. So when we get new people come in, guys, give them that hug, that virtual hug like you're doing. That's what we do here. That's what I want people to do. And when you're at your home, give people more hugs. I told my wife the other day, I just said, I love you. And she's like, why did you tell me that? I said, because I feel like I don't tell you enough.
Can I tell you what I say?
What do you say?
I always tell my wife I like her. I say I like you because I do.
Yeah.
I mean, you can love someone and not like them. True.
Exactly.
But I do. I like her. And a lot of people hear that and go, really? You know, it's like, yeah, I do. I still like her. You know, it's not like it's this, 20-year relationship and it's my wife or it's my husband. It's like,
exactly.
I like her. I'm just saying it. And there's a childishness that we play on about it, but I do. I really like her. And there's nothing wrong with saying that, I mean, just like you're saying, give more of everything and give more hugs. I mean, I'm a huggy, kissy guy, you two.
Italian.
That's it. And, it is one of those things. And see, I always say I love you to anyone I talk to.
Yeah.
Because
I got used to that.
Yeah, exactly. And that's just it. I mean, it started kind of when my mom and dad passed away, both of them passed away. We're on this plane, a speck, a moment. And, in all honesty, just meeting someone, you walk into someone and it's like, okay, but when you share bread, when you share a conversation, I mean, that's what I call bread.
Yeah.
When you share bread and break bread like that, you've shared something, you've opened something, you're acknowledging that person. It's like, I love that they came into my life just for this little experience, but I say, I love you because you don't know. And a lot of people kind of step back, which I'm sure you did. Jason was like, really? Okay, sure. Right. But it is one of those things where, but
he was bowing to you.
Yeah, but I do love people, and I fully admit it. There's no, you'll never get that out of my mouth. I'm allowed to be human. I'm allowed to be human, but I'm just saying, I always say I love you because I don't know if I'm going to talk to you again.
Yeah.
And I want you to know that I appreciated talking with you. And I do. It's one of those things. I love this guy down here, Dad, in my many lifetimes. He's a awesome guy. And hopefully I get to meet you someday. I am. Because I may just
decide to have a bonfire up here.
I love your hair because see, you have flat hair. Mine's everywhere. At least if it was straight, it would be like, okay, that's good. I got the zigzags in the morning. All right. That's all I have to say for tonight. Thank you.
No worries. How about you, Dennis? Anything you want to leave the group with?
Yeah, I just want everybody to think back again about the spider web, how everything affects you and how you affect others.
Yeah. It's a true story. When we talk about what you put out in your energetic field is what you're going to return into your energetic field. Mm-hmm. That's a spider web, because think about it. A spider web would be what? A conduit, right? Between energies. If you want to look at it that way, that comes back to what you put out is what you're going to receive back. Vice versa. Energetic boundaries. We talk about this, and that starts with your energetic boundary gets stronger the stronger you are inside with yourself. It becomes more impenetrable from lower frequency energies because you are already healing and you are protecting yourself because you are becoming whole within yourself. You are becoming enough. Enough. And that's where it starts. That's a big word. Enough.
Yep.
Because you tell people enough already, please. Right? That's a big word. No matter how you use it, it's got a lot of context to it. No matter how it comes and how you use it. So
It's
for
never
you,
enough.
flip it. Exactly. Never enough. Now flip it. I
Enough is
am
never
enough.
enough.
I am enough.
No, you're
I've
not.
always been enough. I was enough when God created me. Who knows when? I've been enough since that moment. God said, you are enough. And you will be enough when you come back to me. So that's what I want people to know. You're not building up to being enough. You already are enough. You're just expanding in this purpose. But you are enough to be able to expand in the first place. Realize that. To expand, you're already enough. And that's what I want people to know. These journeys are coming for you. Some of us are getting kicked in the butt, and some of us are kind of getting nudged along. Because you are enough and you can handle this. That's what I'm telling you guys. You are enough. These things that you guys are going through, you guys have all been past these things because they've already happened to you, which means you are enough to overcome those obstacles. You are enough to look that fear in the eye and you punch it right in the teeth. That's what I want you guys to start doing. Look at your fear and attack it. And attack it in a way that's no longer going to affect you. And I want you to use that same type of motivation that you've accomplished and you've conquered that fear. And I want you to move forward and pull that energy in and use that positivity because then fears no longer bother you. They become obstacles that you overcome. They don't become defining things that hold you back. That's why I want you guys to know you already are enough. Every obstacle you overcome, you will always overcome our obstacles because you are enough. Smile at yourself. I am enough.
Honestly, I'm so happy. I'm joyful. I really am. I'm comfortable. I've slept a few days. I'm kind of ecstatic about that. But it's just
You
one
and
of
me
those
both.
things where, yeah, I mean, if you are happy, if you are comfortable, and I know that's not easy for everybody, but if you can get to that place, things are so much easier. But
Yes.
what, I get sometimes we look at the earthly things, the money, the this, the that. How about that moment, that brief moment, hearing that baby cry or giggle or laugh, that quick moment in the store, in the restaurant? That's the beauty. It just take that little bit and put it into your life because it is a blessing in so many things, in so many ways. I appreciate all these little things. I don't know why.
Yes.
I guess because I can see that we're all connected and they all have meaning. So maybe that's why I enjoy them so much because I kind of like I know the ride's going to end, but I still enjoy the journey.
Yes.
I'm just saying I can see the domino from that, and it, is there anything funnier, honestly, if you've ever seen a mom correct their little one and they have to turn because like their little one like gets it, but like mom or dad have to turn around because they don't want to the little kid to see them laugh. That moment, that's a great moment.
Exactly.
I keep just those little things. I keep them in my head, and they help me throughout the day. Sounds simple and stupid,
But it's not.
But it's not. And I mean, okay, that was the bad word to use, stupid. It put it to me. I just don't think there's anything insignificant.
Exactly.
That's just it. There's nothing is random, and
Yes.
I can't say that enough. I see it more
Yeah.
and more and more. Nothing is random.
Yes.
Enjoy the ride.
Exactly. And I come back to what we talked about earlier in the show about being enough. He said that was stupid. So what he did was belittle himself by saying I said something that I called myself stupid about or was a stupid comment. Even though he did it and he's like, he caught himself. That was the observer part. You just saw that he literally stepped back from the situation. Like, you know what? Even though I kind of called him out, but it was the fact of Yes, we need to think everything we think. Sometimes we just start to say. Sometimes we have to just kind of let it connect. And then
I have to get the silly. Silly is a little bit better one, but yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily have. I'm not thinking at the point where. Okay, but I don't think when I say it, my words are pure. But you're right. We
Sure.
If we're going to talk about this, we got to walk the walk at the same time. I agree.
Exactly. And that's what it comes down to. I mean, like I said, sometimes looking at ourselves in the mirror is the scariest thing that you need to do. Seriously. Seriously, that's because you're a prisoner of your own mind.
Mm-hmm.
You're a prisoner of your own, what you put your restriction on is exactly what you'll have. And that's what I feel like people need to realize. That comes back to being enough. You know that you have enough. Your expansion is endless.
You are what you imagine you are.
Exactly. And I really appreciate, like I said, all you guys as well that come in. Thank you. You are my sunshine for your beautiful comment. It's nothing. It's not me. I know that maybe I just was helped. Maybe there's some words that maybe helped you kind of click in a little bit. Maybe click into something. Exactly. My words come from the divine. I don't just say things because honestly, the things I say, I do them. I would never tell someone to do something that I'm not doing or doing myself, and that's a true story. And I feel like that's where it comes down to. Don't deceive yourself, because you will deceive yourself. It's like I'm doing this, I believe it, but you don't believe it. You're deceiving yourself. And words are powerful. That was an example. Words are very powerful because the energy that comes with that word
could have affected someone else.
Exactly right.
Right.
And that person said, well, I'm dumb too. Then it's a domino effect. And that person says, well, I've had dumb moments too, or this was stupid. I'm stupid. That's what it comes back to. It's a domino effect.
Right.
It's not only the spoken word; it's also the thought that has the intent.
Yeah,
exactly.
You're right. We didn't even touch that tonight. Wow.
No, exactly. Thoughts.
That's why I'm here. I'm good for another 3 hours.
Not 5.
Not 5, right? I know that's quitting.
Yeah, I need my rest. I'm old. Okay.
Yeah, that's quitting. He might have jury duty tomorrow, which I don't.
Yeah,
think
he's going. No, I got sleep. I'm getting more.
I got the word. I don't have jury duty for the rest of the week now.
Woo-hoo.
So we can come back on tomorrow.
I told you that though.
I'm good for tomorrow.
Just let me get some sleep. I just want to get some.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Joy to the world.
And I'm glad that. See, I told him that. I told him my cards, my reading. That's exactly what would happen, and that's exactly what happened. So that's another example for people who says, "Hey, this is just quackery." It's not. Now, do I get everything totally right? No. Because, like I said, this is just an option. This is free choice. We have our free will. We can alter things based on your interaction.
Be a quack and not have quackery.
Exactly. I'm just saying, you know what I mean? Those are the show me moment, and that was a show me moment for people.
That was my aha moment.
Exactly. No, it's awesome. So I just want to let you guys know, smile. That's the only thing I can leave you with for the day, just for today. Go to bed tonight.
Frown tomorrow.
Smile and say, you know what? I am enough. Before you go to sleep, thank you, Father God, for creating me.
Yes.
That happy thought.
Happy thought. Go to bed in a positive mentality. Even 2 seconds of slow your breathing down and from a place of I love you. And guess what? You'll sleep way better than you will if you're like worrying about reading your phone before you go to sleep and watching the news and crazy stuff. So
this is my great granddaughter.
Hi.
Hello.
How are
I
you?
didn't know you're on a show.
Yeah.
Are you famous?
I'm famous.
He's famous. You didn't know that?
He's not just famous. He is a legendary.
He's legendary.
Not just fame.
Hold on. What do you do? What do you do to get famous?
What do you mean? He is the man.
He was enough.
He was enough. Exactly.
I mean, I know you're old, but
She is beautiful. See, I'm sorry. That's my happy thought.
Exactly.
That was great. That was beautiful. That was beautiful. That was so precious and innocent. That was beautiful.
Okay.
That's what it's about.
That was honest. That was great.
Very honest. Kids have no filter.
You
That's
love
the one
it.
thing I
Love
love
it.
about kids. They just have no filter. They just let it fly.
That was my happy thought, Dennis. I'm going to have that one for a while. Thank you.
Yes.
that was great. That was
Good
great.
stuff, guys.
She's a joy.
Oh man,
Smile
made
today. Smile today and smile every day. Smiling brings the sunshine into your life, into your soul.
That was great.
So, all right, guys. Well, thank
What
you
a
guys
beautiful
once
one.
again for tuning in. I love you guys. You guys always know that. Hopefully you guys tune in tomorrow. If you want to, I'm doing more readings tomorrow night. For some of you guys who may need some answers, 7:00. And like I said, if you guys need a healing session as well, anyone who's listening, let me know. Look, go to my site. I'm telling you, if you're open to this stuff, I feel you're going to get such good healing from this service. And I'm not just pushing products on people because I don't do that. I'm saying is if you feel you need a healing, you've been thinking about it, don't hesitate. There's a reason why Spirit is pulling you that way. And I'm telling you because you're ready for that healing to happen. That's why you're getting pulled that way. And that's a true story. So listen to your heart. That's where Spirit is pulling you in this journey. It's pulling you in multiple directions at one time. That's what people don't realize. Your Spirit is pulling you everywhere because it's infinite. It's infinite. So you're getting pulled in like a ping pong ball all over the place. Your job is to slow it down, realign yourself, recall your energy every day. Recall your energy. We don't do that enough. From a good place, I'm recalling all of my energy with light, love. And let's do that right now, actually, before we go. That's what I feel we should do.
I'm sorry. I am stuck on. You're on a show? It was precious, dude.
You're famous?
I'm sorry. It was precious.
What are you famous for? I'm like, because he was enough.
The chat's saying she has to have a guest appearance. That's all I'm saying. She might need another cameo.
Absolutely. No, guys. So before we go, if you want, you can grab your crystal if you want. You don't have to. Crystals, as we mentioned, it's just a conduit. Same thing with if you want to grab your sage, your whatever. You don't need that. Your candles, you can do that. You don't need that. It's all in your intention. Exactly. That's an awesome dragon. I love it. I just got this. So that's my incense burner, and it's got the crystals inside of it. It's cool. So I just got that one. So I want you guys to kind of close your eyes. I want you to close your eyes. And I want you to slow your breathing down. This is where it starts. Every day. Close your eyes. Slow your mind down. Release all these thoughts and these racing things. Slow your breathing down. In through your nose, 2 to 3 seconds. And every breath in, you're breathing in the divine breath of God, the creator of all. And every breath out, you're releasing all things that do not belong. Every breath in, you're breathing the divine breath of God, the creator of all. Every breath out, you're releasing things that do not belong. And I want you to recall your energy. I want you to call your higher self, Father God, whoever, all your guides. And I want you to, I am recalling all of my energy now with light, love, forgiveness, and healing. And I am sending away all energy that's been given to me or I've taken. And I'm sending it away with light, love, forgiveness, and healing. I am enough. I am healing. I am worthy. I am loved. I am strong. I am growing. I am ascending. I am the divine creation God made me to be. I am the light. I am the love. I am the truth. I am. So be it. So it is. So, did Joe leave us?
Yeah, apparently.
He must have just said, I'm out. I'm out of here. So,
He must
all
have
right,
done
guys.
his little
Yep.
thing.
He did his little genie. So thank you guys for tuning in. Awesome once again. Like I said, recall that energy every day. Recalling it. It's your energy. You guys, I'm telling you, you need to recall your energy every day. Every day. You can recall it multiple times a day. It's by close your eyes and slow your breathing down. And I am recalling all of my energy now, and I'm sending away all energy that I've taken or been given to me. By doing that, you become into alignment. You start to come into alignment because your breathing slows down, your spirit comes into alignment. This is all things that we can do. Just a simple little breath, a breath can change literally how you feel, because that's stepping back and your spirit is taking over at that point. And be the light. I am healed. Those aren't just affirmations like believe it, I am healing, I am healed. These are just words. They're just words unless you put the intention behind them and the belief. They're just words. It's like saying hello. That's where it starts, guys. The belief, as we talk about always, believe in yourself, believe in God, and believe their purpose. You're here is bigger than yourself. Even by being here is enough. Guys, send you guys all light and love and dragons, healing energy. Be safe, stay in the light, shine that light so bright, it's going to blind people. That's the beauty. That's how special you are. Till next time, Soldier of Light, out.